Flyweight bout here. Nate Maness coming in at plus 210 against Mateus Mendonca, sitting at minus 260. Over under 2.5 rounds. Even money for the over, minus 130 for the under. This one, based off of that over under, I'm kind of like the under. But you're looking at Nate Maness, 32 years of age, 5'10" for a flyweight. I believe he's the tallest flyweight on the roster. Pretty big frame. But we saw his last fight. When he made 125, it looked like he was on death's door. Mateus Mendonca, 24 years of age, made his UFC debut against Javid Basharat and lost that one. That was at the end of last year, I believe. So he's been on a bit of a layoff, but coming back here and trying to get a win. I mean, he's a favorite in this one. Nate Maness, UFC career, he's 3-2, but he's lost his last 2 fights to Umar Nurmagomedov and Tagir Ulanbekov. Not the 2 worst guys that you could lose to, but he gets subbed in the first round against Tagir Ulanbekov in his flyweight debut. So this is an interesting one. I mean, Mendonca training out of shoot to box. He's a young guy coming in as a big favorite. He's explosive. We saw it on the Contender Series. He had a 48-second knockout in the first round to get a contract there. He was scheduled to fight Castaneda in June of this year, and that fight got canceled. Finally getting a fight here. I'm interested to see how he looks after coming back from his first career loss. And I'm excited to watch him because he's pretty fun to watch. Explosive, fast hands, big power. And we'll see if he can get it done. I like him. I don't know if I like the price tag, but I like him to get it done. What do you think in this one?
Yeah, the price tag, it's hard. It's hard to bet that at chalk because we still haven't really seen him that much in the UFC. Obviously, we saw him against Javid Basharat, but Javid's a monster. Like that's a tough first fight in the UFC. And ultimately, I think a loss like that kind of makes you better. Like back to the drawing board, you take your first career loss, you get that monkey off your back. You don't have to worry about that anymore, and you can kind of just go out there and fight. Love the style. Stylistically, I think it's a tough matchup for Nate Maness. You do look at his strike differential, and he lands 2.41 and then gets hit with 6.27. But I kind of scratched that out to not even pay attention to because it's based off basically one fight, and it was Javid Basharat, who's insanely technical on the feet and has a phenomenal volume. So kind of give him a pass there. For Maness, like if he looks like he did in his last fight, cutting down in that weight cut, I think you just hammer Mendonca inside the distance or take the under 2.5 because dude, he looks so bad that it was like concerning in all those pictures that were circulating. And, he hasn't necessarily been dealt any favors by the UFC, getting Umar Nurmagomedov and Tagir Ulanbekov back to back. But in this fight, if he gets taken down to the ground, I could see Mendonca trying to pull off a submission here. He's got some on his record. He's got that style to where he's always going to be looking for the finish. I do think he gets it done. Don't like the price tag, but as you mentioned, I really do like that under 2.5 because Nate Maness he'll go for the kill as well, and he can kind of do it by submission or a knockout. Probably is what I would lean to if he gets the win here. But I do like violence in this spot a lot.
Yeah, I think one way to get it down, that price tag down, is probably just take Mendonca inside the distance.
Yeah.
Because Nate Maness has been finished a couple times, just coming off a finish. And basically, watch that fight against Umar. The guy, I mean, he got outstruck in that fight. It was a decision loss. Got outstruck 2-74. And I don't know, maybe off of that fight, he was like, all right, fuck it. Like, if I'm going to lose a fight, I'm going to go down swinging. Next fight gets subbed. I mean, those are 2 tough opponents. But I do think Mendonca fought a tough opponent as well in his debut. 24 years of age. Got to think he's always getting better. And I do think he's got a good career ahead of him. He is coming down to 125 as well. He fought Javid at 135. So we'll see how he looks on the scales as well. But he'll be the pick for me. And like I said, if you want to get it down a little bit, maybe look for a finish prop because that's where most of his wins are coming. And Nate Maness with that weight cut, don't know how he's going to look. Definitely keep an eye on that. But Mendonca will be the pick for me.